Hello everybody. In this video, I'm going to talk about ERP and specifically how to do self-ERP. ERP stands for Exposure and Response Prevention, and it's a therapy that's being used to treat OCD sufferers worldwide. In this video, I'm going to show you how to perform it on yourself and how to recover from OCD using this method. The exposure part is your OCD thoughts. And if you have OCD, you are being exposed to your OCD thoughts permanently almost. The key part is the response prevention. And that means that when you're confronted with a thought that is related to your OCD fear, then you must not react to it and not engage in any kind of compulsions, be it mental compulsions or physical compulsions. It sounds very easy, but it is very hard. I'm going to use a practical example of self-exposure and response prevention. Let's say your OCD theme is contamination. It's an easy example for anybody to understand. Let's say you see a doorknob and you look at that doorknob and think that it is contaminated. And if you touch it, you're gonna get a terrible disease. That is you being exposed to your OCD thought. Then comes the response prevention part, which is the hard part, but it is also the key to your recovery. You must go and touch the doorknob. But how? You're afraid. Fear comes in automatically. Once you're confronted with a thought and with an what if, fear comes in automatically. But here you must gather all your mental strength and resist the urge to not touch the doorknob and to avoid your fear. You must go and touch the doorknob. And you're going to feel extreme anxiety doing that. And you're going to feel like you're going to die. And you're going to feel like you're in hell and you're burning. But that's not going to last forever. Doing this each time you're confronted with an OCD thought that's telling you to avoid something, you must do exactly the opposite. And in 1 month, you're going to feel so much better. Initially, the anxiety will spike. But after that, it's going to plummet and you're going to feel better, more confident, and you're going to be on the road to recovery. If your OCD is mostly mental, meaning that you don't have physical compulsions, you must resist the urge to follow your OCD thought. It's going to pop in. It's going to tell you something bad about yourself probably, or that you're going to do something bad to somebody else. The theme is not really that relevant, but it's going to tell you what it's usually telling you. And you're going to be exposed to that, and you're going to be tempted to follow that thought and try to negotiate with your OCD. Tell it that you're not going to do that, you're not like this is not true, so on and so forth. And this is where you must stop. Once you're confronted with a thought, once the thought pops in, you change focus. I know it hurts, it does hurt because most likely your thoughts are very disturbing or disturbing to you and distressing. It hurts, but you must shift focus. There is absolutely no other way in which you can recover from OCD if you follow its instructions. If you don't follow the instructions and you follow my instructions and the instructions of people who have recovered from OCD or who are therapists and are experienced in this, you're going to recover. And as I said, in the first month, it's going to be pretty hard, but it gradually becomes easier and easier. After 5 months, maybe a little more or a little less, you're going to be OCD free. And looking back at your thoughts that you have now, they're going to seem extremely silly, extremely childish maybe, or just plain dumb. They won't make any sense to you in the future. So when your OCD comes in, you just do absolutely nothing. Nothing, ignore it, just don't do what it says, shift focus. Try to find activities, people that you like to listen to watch, to study, documentaries to watch, books to read, anything that can take your mind off that initial thought. And another trick that I want to share with you is that in the moment an OCD thought comes in, that's the moment you label it. Just label it and admit it's an OCD thought, because you know it's an OCD thought. You had it many times before and it's related to your OCD fear. So you already know that it's an OCD thought. There's no question about it. Okay, then put a label on it. Label it as an OCD thought. It's gonna be easier for you to ignore it after that. The more you let it gain power and the more you follow it, the harder it's going to be to disregard its meaning and its importance later on. Thank you very much for listening, and I wish you all the best.